Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the man, myth, the legend, Mr. Matt, the mortgage guy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Mike. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So you and I are talking to real estate investors in the business, real estate agents. I thought we had some very interesting personal stories that we're going to get recorded. Why don't you talk about one, and then I have one for you as well. But
Okay,
give me the first one.
Okay, yeah, I've got a couple, but we've talked about it and we've said this market is changing. You're going to be able to find deals. And the good news is I've got boots on the ground. I can report directly from the ground, tell you things that are happening, not today that are going to be in a newspaper 3 months from now,
right?
But today, as in offer written, I think it was last Friday. And I look at these offers, I call the list side. We've got a full file, we can close. It's the same shtick, right? Is like, we do the work up front. It's going to be smooth. We've got a great reputation, accept our client's offer. Let's roll. And so I look at these deals day in and day out. Right. And one of these that was written at 350 on something that was listed at 399. Sacramento is a hot market.
Yeah.
Right. And over these last
it was a hot market.
over these last few years, that offer would have been laughed out of the building. And truth be told, when I first saw it, I was like, man, this is a pretty aggressive investor. It might take a few months of this guy putting in these offers to actually find something that sticks. Lo and behold, Monday evening in my inbox, we've got an accepted purchase contract for 350. And I was thinking to myself, man,
times have changed.
Times sure have changed. And, good for the investor, good for the agent who's out there writing those deals, and whatever communications were going on, that's an important part of this whole game too, is like great agents are having great conversations. And, if I was a buy agent, I would instill a little bit of fear in the list side. Hey, you've been on 11 days. You haven't got any offers. Things used to be in contract within a week. If you don't accept this offer of ours, I don't know, you want to go back to the seller and start, talking about how you're going to lower it and try to catch a falling knife and chase that way. Yeah. Or do you just want to accept us at 350? We can get rolling and have you closed in 21 days.
Exactly.
In our case, we're in contract.
Yeah. This is what I hope people are listening to, because I keep telling my audience, we used to do good and great deals. Good left the building. We're only doing great deals. Write those offers. And if you're working with an agent that would have refused to write that offer, get another agent. Right? Write offers that are great deals for you. My students do the work. They look for 90 days. They understand average. They write great deals. And 350 is the number. 350 is the number. Frankly, 360 was probably the number. They wrote it at 350, gave a little bit of wiggle room. But hey, accept 350. Let's rock and roll. A couple of things I could guess about that house without even knowing. And again, I've been doing this forever. First and foremost, the house wasn't perfect. Clearly.
Not even close.
Right? It's just obvious, right? But that's where the opportunities are. In past, everything was bid up. The perfect properties, the ones that will pass an FHA inspection, they're still going to go at or over list. Those are pretty few and far between. FHA is picky. VA is picky. They're protecting the borrowers, right? We're talking 0% down, maybe 3.5% down. You damn right they're going to be picky. They don't want their buyers to get a big expense and be, have to foreclose or walk away. So again, I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, because otherwise an FHA buyer would have snapped it up with 3.5, or a VA buyer with 0. But that's what I'm waiting for. Find like for my market today, it's 15 days. I think it's going to be 30 days in about a month. For Sacramento, maybe it's 10 days. If they've got no activity in 10 days, write that offer and see what happens. So I'm so ecstatic. I love real life examples of that. So I got one for you before we go to your second example. So I've been talking about Airbnb being a pretty risky strategy. So one of my real estate entrepreneurs is actually selling two of his Airbnb inventory. And he actually has sub 3% loans on these, because they bought him as owner ox and didn't become Airbnbs. But anyways, he's selling them because his Airbnb business is performing half as well as last year.
Wow. So
again, it goes from thousands of dollars positive to an alligator. So he's selling these even though it has 3% money. People need to do this, right? If you have an Airbnb that you bought that worked last year that doesn't now, and it's an alligator, rule number 1, no alligators. If you can turn it into a long-term rental, great. In this case, you can't, because it's a vacation destination. But look at your numbers. Don't get caught with alligators, right? You take this $700,000 home, negative $2,000 a month. That gets tiring after a while. sell it, rebuild your equity position. And, if you're carrying Airbnb, that's going to be an alligator, even if it has lifetime low debt, sell it. It's not worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah. And while we're in the mood to issue warnings,
Yes.
My second story is a realtor who was representing a flipper. If you're a flipper, make sure that you are not operating on super thin margins. Make sure that you're not in the business of, if everything, works out perfectly. Literally, this conversation I had, this flipper is just saying, okay, take $40,000 loss, let's get out. And, from the realtor that I talked to, he said, listen, I think we could have got more. My seller, the flipper, was freaked out. Yeah. And literally saying, we've got to sell this thing, just put it to this rock bottom number. And, being around real estate for as long as we have, Mike, we realize there's strategy to what you price a home at, and had gone in too high at 525, had a dream of, that's what I want to get, because that's what
wish pricing,
right, makes it something where I'm going to have a net profit of 30 grand. I think he was in at 495-ish. Absolutely no action. Starts to panic. Okay, we got to reduce it. And agent says, let's go to 499. Let's see what that brings. 499, still not getting action, realizing, hey, I might be taking a loss. This is coming from the realtor, and it's a fun conversation to have, because the realtor says, listen, if we went to 475 and somebody comes in with an offer of 465, fine, right? He would have lost 30 grand, but we're out of it. Because of the panic that set in, he just said, let's go to 450. And when you price at 450, you're not likely to get your one offer that come in at 470. You're just not going to do it, right? And so I think they end up accepting at 450 versus, somebody who took a couple deep breaths might have said, list at 470, list at 475, push it out, hold it open, do whatever you got to do. Maybe you get an offer at 465 or 470, where the buyer, some of this is a mental game, right? The buyer is going to feel like, oh, I got it under list, I got a deal. You go to 450 and it's different, right? And if you would have come out the gate priced at 475, maybe you got 475 or 480. So important how you price in this market. It's more important than ever. Important what realtor you work with in this market, more important than ever.
Yeah. I got to tell you, flippers, they haven't had to worry about holding costs in a while. From list to close, 21 days. That's not even a mortgage payment. Now they are. And again, I don't know this guy's debt structure. He could have been sitting on $5,000 a month stroke, and he's going, if I hold this for 90 days, that's another 15 grand. So again, flippers, be careful. Stop flipping above the median. Be very, very careful. Buy cheaper. It's not like flipping isn't a great business, but you all have been spoiled. It's been the easiest time to do it. Be careful. And lastly, take the small loss. I knew somebody who lost a 10-figure business because he didn't take one $50K loss.
Wow. Yeah. So, yeah. That's,
be careful.
It's a scary proposition. And, it's flippers in the market. It's real estate agents. It's mortgage folks. Everybody's, got to be operating at a high level to survive.
There you go. Well, this is a lot of fun. We have a surprise number 4 about competition, which is going to be a great tease. But before we get to that, how can people find you?
Go to greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out that form. We're in 47 or 48 states. So chances are, 96% shot. We're doing business where you're at. Greatmortgagebroker.com, fill out the form, and we'll be in touch within 24 hours.
And do yourself a favor, watch video number 2 about a new pricing strategy that I strongly recommend for all home buyers and investors. Thanks, buddy.
Yep.